Hi guys, welcome back. It's almost the end of another year and it feels a bit crazy. I guess most people will agree with me. But it means it's time again for my reading retrospective video. I created this tag last year because I was looking for a tag video where I could kind of go through my reading year, see things that might have changed, maybe favorite books that I've discovered, and because I kind of didn't find one that would kind of suit me and not in the form I was looking for, I just created it and had a lot of fun doing so. I guess it's going to be like a recurring thing on my channel that I would do every year. And by the way, you're very welcome to film your own version of the tag as well. All the questions will be in the link down below, as well as my original tag video. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions. The first one is, which book you've read this year would you recommend to anyone and why? This year I have gone through my list of books, and the book that really jumped in my face when thinking about something that would appeal to a wide range of readers was The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This book, basically, if you're a reader and you're a book lover, you'll probably love it. Like, that is, if you don't hate like stories with strong atmosphere and a mystery element, because that's also a big part of this book. It's also a book that I think you should not know too much about it going in, but it's definitely a book that is for book lovers. It has mysteries, it has twists and turns, it has such a strong atmosphere, it's very eerie, and it's perfect for the winter or for fall, and it's also just compulsively readable. So I think it's a book that would appeal to a lot of people, if not everyone. Question number 2 is, which book you read this year has taught you something new? And for me, it was definitely Darm mit Charme by Julia Enders. The English version is called The Gut, and it's a nonfiction about what it says on the cover. It's about the gut and how it works, and what makes it such an important organ that has often been both misunderstood and severely misstudied throughout the history of medicine. I just learned so many things about it that I didn't know, and things that I thought were so fascinating, especially in regards to the interaction between the gut and our nervous system and how that directly impacts our mental health. And that's something I find incredibly fascinating. Question number 3 is, which book you've read this year came just at the right time when you needed it? I couldn't really pinpoint it on one book, but it was definitely the medieval middle grade fiction books by Eveline Brizou-Pellen. I started reading her books in the fall, and it was a time where I felt burnt out, honestly, by this year and by all the job searching I was doing. And I kind of needed something that was a comfort read. And so I went back to these books and also partly bought some of the ones that I don't own secondhand. These books that I remember loving from childhood. They're all set in the 13th century in France. There's so much historical detail in it and such funny and interesting characters that I just felt sucked into this world, and it was a great escapism, and it was really what I needed at the right time. Question number 4 is, which book you read this year will stay with you for a long time? I think apart from the book that I'll be naming as my favorite book of the year, a new favorite, it's definitely Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. It's a memoir by Lori Gottlieb, who herself is a therapist, and it's about her journey as a therapist, but also herself going to a therapist after something traumatic happened in her life. It's not a perfect book, and there's definitely some arguments to be made about his very American-centric view and his very white upper and middle class view. But what it did do is really demystify therapy for me, and how important it is, and how helpful it can be, and really what it entails and what good it can do. And it really opened my eyes on this. in a way that I don't think I'll ever forget. Question number 5 is which book you read this year expanded your reading horizons? So this can be a new genre, author, theme, style, format. And I honestly see in going through the books that I read that I didn't venture out too much into stuff that I was not comfortable with, which is interesting. I mean, obviously it might have to do with like the general unpredictability of this year. But I did read All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is a sci-fi novella. And I kind of bought it on a whim and ended up quite enjoying it. It was a bit too fast-paced and at parts all over the place for me, but it was a very enjoyable read. And I was surprised by it. It didn't cover like the typical, what I thought were typical sci-fi tropes, which was very refreshing to me. Question number 6 is, which bookish things did you particularly enjoy doing, using, or purchasing this year? For me, it was a various range of things. The first one being shopping only secondhand online this year. I really enjoyed that. Second would probably be having used my Kindle e-reader a lot more, and mostly for classics. I think most of the classics that I read this year, I read for free thanks to my e-reader, which was great. And finally, something that I really enjoyed doing this year is taking the time to fill my reading journal. That was and still is something that I enjoyed doing, that was very soothing, that was a way to kind of visually seeing the books that I read and their ratings and so on. And I do it with the covers and the star ratings and the number of pages and the language I read the book in. And I plan on continuing doing this because I feel like it's a very nice and calm thing to do. Question number 7 is, who are some booktubers, subscribers, or other bookish friends that you got to know better this year? So it can be in any way, shape or form. I'm just going to mention a few people, but I think all the people that I mentioned in last year's videos are still very much people that I love and enjoyed interacting with, talking about books this year. But some new bookish friends that I got, which was wonderful, is firstly Lauren from the channel Reading with Makar. We read some books together. We still are actually at the time I'm filming this, and it was really fun getting to know her and chatting about books. It's been wonderful. I got to meet Claudia from Spencer's Library in real life, just because before this whole Corona stuff started, when she was over here in Germany, and we filmed a video together for both the channels, which was lovely, which was really special for me because it's really the first person that I know through Booktube that I got to see in real life. And I certainly plan on it not being the last person from Booktube that I meet in real life, so that's also kind of exciting. And also definitely all the people that I got to get to know better through the read-along of Germinal that I hosted in September. It's been so wonderful really talking at length about this book, chapter by chapter, and I loved how most of the people who participated left some really long comments on Goodreads, and we got to talk really in depth, which was wonderful. So I also got to know a lot of other bookish friends and subscribers and commenters through that as well, which was really lovely. Question number 8 is, what Booktube videos did you particularly enjoy this year? The thing is, I've really noticed that I have been watching Booktube a lot less this year. I've often felt too overwhelmed to kind of get through my watch list, and I'm still very much behind, and it's really not been helping with the whole Vlogmas stuff going on these days, but I'm trying to catch up, and I haven't been commenting as often as I used to, at least last year, but I'm still watching, and I think there have been some really cool videos going around this year as well. One that I want to highlight is the Read My Country tag, which is a tag that is a bit older, but myself and some other people have recently been refilming or filming this tag again, kind of making it a revival, which I loved following, because then I got to get to know other people from other countries talking about the books that their countries are famous for, that maybe aren't that famous, and it's been really, really wonderful. So I really recommend checking out this tag video. Just look for it on YouTube. It's wonderful, and there's people from all over the world filming it. Question number 9 is, did you discover a new all-time favorite book? And yes, I did. And it's no surprise, it's L'Assommoir by Émile Zola. This book kind of reached through my chest, straight to my heart. This book was so, so good. I laughed, I was sad, I was depressed, I was happy. I really experienced all the feelings following our main protagonist, Gervaise, as she is trying to build a life against all odds that are against her class and her position as a woman in 19th century France. It just grabbed me on so many levels. It pulled my heart out, honestly, and I don't think I'll ever forget the first time I read this book. I hope I will reread it again and again and still get that same feeling. I don't know. I just can't advertise this book enough. Question number 10 finally is, tag some of your favorite bookish people. And I might tag some people in the description box. I haven't decided yet. I would like to see this tag filmed by other people, but I don't want to put pressure on anyone, because, you know, we need some break from this year, to be honest, and kind of recover from it, I guess. So I would love to see you or anyone answering those questions, maybe in the comments, or you want to film your own video. If you're interested, go ahead, consider yourself tagged, and let me know so that I can go and watch the video. Let me know what some of your thoughts on your own reading have been for 2020. How did your reading go in general? Did you read less or more? Did you reach any goals that you set yourself? Let me know everything in the comments. I hope you have a peaceful and calming end of the year, and I'll probably be back beginning of next year with some more bookish videos. Until then, I hope you're reading great books, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!